Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise here today in support of the budget. And I'm going to first commend our leadership, especially the Appropriations Committee, for putting a budget together that puts us in a position to fund Pennsylvania for the next year. You know, we've heard here earlier about we can do better. Well, let me tell you how we can do better. If you want to spend $300 million more in programs and not have the money to fund it, so next year you'll be $600 million in the red, then that's what we can do, because that's what's happened here for many, many years under the Rendell administration. And we don't hear, I'm just confused as could be, when no one talks about the pensions. No one talks about the pension funding for the last 4 Rendell years when the other side of the aisle was in the majority, and let this happen. If you combine the CSRS and the PSERS pension, $1.9 billion in total in 4 years. The PSERS and the CSRS, $1.9 billion was put in. The number should have been, folks, $3.675 billion. It was severely underfunded. In the first 3 Corbett years, $3.352 went into the pensions. We never talk about that. Imagine if we didn't have to do that. If the other side of the aisle for the last 4 Rendell years funded the pensions properly, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now. We're playing catch-up. The money should have been in those budgets. We tried to do that on the floor. It didn't happen. I said it earlier in the last go-around when we spoke here and we sent the budget over to the Senate. I dare anyone to find anywhere in the history of the Commonwealth $5,523,295,000 in basic education funding. That is the highest figure ever. And if anyone comes to a mic and says that's not correct, state funds, have them step away from the mic because their nose is going to hit it. This budget takes care of the folks that really need help. That waiting list that was really ignored for 4 years under the last 4 Rendell years, we're addressing it. We're getting them the services that they need, which didn't happen in the past. It's a good budget, folks. It's a budget we can live with. It's a budget that we can continue to fund the proper, all of the various departments in the Commonwealth, and I request a unanimous vote. I doubt if it's going to happen, but I think that these folks should look in the mirror and look at exactly where we were and where we are today, and where this budget has come from the dollars that were spent. $4.1 billion shortfall 3 years ago. Walking into office with a $4.1 billion shortfall and over a $2.6 billion shortfall in pension obligations. $6.7 billion between the stimulus money, the shortfall in revenue, and the shortfall in pension contributions. If I had a full head of hair, I would have lost it all, just walking into office with those type of shortfalls. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.